So for some reason the other night, I was extremely bored and I was looking around on me streaming services and all this type of stuff for a movie to watch, right? And one thing that actually caught my eye was Batman and Robin. It kind of took me back to my childhood where I remember going to my father's house and of course watching these movies religiously, the Tim Burton Schumer film series type thing with Keaton and all those Batman, right? And I remember absolutely loving and adoring those movies and also hearing that they were hated online. And I kind of thought, well, now that I'm older, I should actually go and revisit these movies and just see why, right? And all I have to say is I can now finally understand why my dad left me. Look, father, if you are ever I can't even fucking speak. Dad, if you're ever watching this video, I'm sorry. I understand why you left me. The pain, suffering, hate, all the pathways that lead to the dark side.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
That I put you through with me as you watched these Batman movies by my side. I'm sorry. I understand why you left. It still hurts to this day. But you know what? I rewatched the movie, right? And I have a lot of thoughts. Again, this is coming from a guy who was a massive fan of these movies as a kid. And I think to really summarize it up, I should go over like the first 10 minutes of the film with you guys and just explain the absolute diabolical mess that I watched, which almost made me want to go to the biggest bridge in Melbourne, Australia, jump off it and die, because goddamn was this movie, it was fucking painful to get through. Again, basically the movie starts off with these old fucking 2D Batman and Robin text, right? And it looks like it was made on Windows Movie Maker, but like a Windows Movie Maker from fucking 28 years ago, right? Something you would put together very quickly in your media class when you're like, again, 2 days late in submitting your media film. Again, it opens up with that 2D fucking text of Batman and Robin, and then slowly progresses into George Clooney being introduced as the new Batman with Chris O'Donnell as Robin. As their first minutes on the screen do appear, a couple of weird zoom-ins of them like getting dressed and their outfit being put on do happen. And I gotta also say, I was sitting there watching this movie with my mum, and when it zoomed into George Clooney's ass of him putting on the suit, I could not help but laugh out loud. And she looked at me like the fucking Mike Wazowski meme of him looking super surprised. Like, what did I genuinely just watch? Not only was it so goofy, but it gets even goofier 888 more times. The next scene follows Batman and his Batmobile spawning on the screen, where he gets in it and drives away. The Batmobile goes like 60 kilometers an hour and looks like the stupid ass scene in the Book of Boba Fett when the fuckwit people who are working for Boba go on their speedy motorbike things where it's going slower than my fucking metabolism. Then we see Robin hop on his bike and catch up to Batman on this Batmobile. He's then chilling there and he gets a message from the detective or the commissioner that says, Batman, we've got someone and something for you to deal with. And it's fucking so bad CGI looking. They spent like 188 million on this fucking movie or some shit. It almost looks as bad as The Acolyte. We then get to see Arnold's first screen appearance as Mr. Freeze, where he is kind of freezing the cops and all this shit. I don't know. I kind of find the scene cool until he starts speaking. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, I forget somehow and sometimes how bad Arnie's accent can be when he's trying to play a dude like that, right?
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
He starts freezing them, and then Batman comes in from the fucking ceiling, lands on a dinosaur, and does this wicked maneuver around Mr. Freeze, and he goes, "Hi, Freeze, I'm Batman." And it's so awkward. I wanted to fucking cut my wrist watching that shit. The scene then progresses with Batman and Robin fighting Mr. Freeze until Mr. Freeze's goon squad come onto Batman, pause, and start fighting and attacking him to the point where they knock him on the ground as they are skating around on ice. Batman and Robin are laying on the ground and they like tap their thighs a couple times and fucking ice skate shoes come out and they start ice skating around. It is so weird. It is so random. What the fuck? When did Batman ever have ice skates? Then shortly after, Mr. Freeze launches off into this fucking ship in space. Batman and Robin follow him. They get into another fight. Fucking Freeze jumps out of the ship. Wings come out of him like he's the Vulture. Batman and Robin then jump out the ship to follow him, and they get on skateboards, fucking snowboards or some shit, and they're just going in the sky on snowboards after this bloke with vulture wings is just moving around Gotham. It is the most random Batman movie, most random superhero movie I have ever seen. Again, I understand, I guess, why I liked it as a kid, because it's so wacky and silly that it's just like, what is this movie? But then I understand as an adult why Rotten Tomatoes gave it 12% out of 100 and why my father left me and no longer speaks to me. Oh my god, I'm even having a cardiac arrest just trying to get that out. Again, don't get me wrong. There are some okay parts of this movie. First of all, I love the set designs, like just the color everywhere. When Poison Ivy is in her green room, even though her scenes are super wacky and super like, someone actually wrote this, like, did they write it with a pen or did they write it with their cock? Like, it's just so random, right? But the scene and of the set of green and in Poison Ivy's fucking green room, right, where it's obviously green, purple, and pink, kind of just like everywhere. It's very vibrant, and I very much miss that in Batman movies. I miss a Batman movie that's not just all black, dark, and grey, right? Which most of them are all now. I have hope that in James Gunn's Brave and the Bold movie, he will go back to like a comic book style where there's a lot more light, hope, and fantasy in Gotham. And again, seeing a Gotham that has rooms that are, you know, icy, made out of all ice, blue and white, and then seeing Poison Ivy's room completely green with some pink and purple scattered into it, right? I do miss that, and I actually think whoever designed some of the sets fucking cooked. Like, they genuinely cooked, in my opinion. And I like that more hopeful, vibrant comic style that I expect James Gunn to hopefully put in his Batman movie to differentiate from, obviously, Matt Reeves' The Batman movie, which I love. I think it's the best movie of all time for Batman, but goddamn is it dark, and I wouldn't mind some light. The acting is appalling in this movie. The chick who plays Barbara was more stale than the 2-week-old bread I demolished because there was nothing else to eat today for me. Also, the Robin. I mean, how old is Chris O'Donnell supposed to be in this movie? Because I'm pretty sure he's like 30 to 35, playing like an 18-year-old. Since when were Robins like ever, I think, older than like 20, right? And this motherfucker's like 35, looks like he's got 3 kids. And then, yeah, I mean, Arnie as Mr. Freeze. I mean, I love Arnie. Arnie's technically the greatest nearly action star of all time. But, yeah, it seemed like I was trying to watch The Terminator be Mr. Freeze. It was very weird. Again, there was some cool comic book stuff about this movie. You look at fucking the bat computer, and instead of like a file that says bat porn or some shit like that, it like says the bat computer or something on it. Again, the comic book stuff that's in this movie, the wacky stuff, it's cool. I mean, I'm kind of hoping James Gunn does a lot of that in his DCU. I think he will. I think a lot of people miss all that type of stuff. But I mean, what would I give this movie out of 10? It's really hard to give it a 1, like I probably should, considering as a movie, as a movie, what the fuck am I trying to say? As a kid, I loved this movie, and it was made, I guess, for kids at the end. So I'm probably going to give it a 2 out of 10 just because it gave me great memories. This Lego Batman game, the Batman Returns, and Batman Forever were my shit as a kid before, obviously, The Dark Knight came around. And again, even I was big on that as a kid, but I low-key loved these movies more as a kid. I was more invested in them, especially the Lego game, right, which I think loosely takes place over these movies, really, or inspired by them. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's funny how fucking bad it is. I wouldn't give it a 1 out of 10. I don't know if I can bring myself to that. I might give it a 2 just because, like, as a kid, I loved it. But if we're talking about, like, now, yeah, it's a 1 out of 10. I mean, what am I talking about? It's a fucking 1 out of 10. I would very much like to hear all of your thoughts and views on this down below. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Have you guys seen Batman and Robin? Did you guys like it when you watched it? You guys like it as a kid? All this type of stuff. I'd very much like to know. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.